Greetings, everyone. Greetings and welcome. Today, I want to talk a little bit about EverQuest, the hero's journey, emulated server. You can enjoy this nice plane of tranquility ambience with me while I just kind of ramble. I don't really have a plan for this video. I just kind of want to get some thoughts out, tell you what I think, my experience with it so far, and I gotta say, it's been absolutely amazing. Now, a lot of us have different stories regarding EverQuest, how we got into it, but for me, it was my first MMO, and I played from the ruins of Kunark all the way to maybe about depths of Dark Hollow or so is when I like kind of started taking really long breaks, and I had come back a few times here and there to check out some of the expansions, but ultimately I just kind of fizzled out of EverQuest. I did make a comeback with Project 1999, absolutely incredible server. I had a blast, and I tried a couple of the TLPs here and there, but ultimately just moved on to other games. And but Norrath is always in the back of my mind, and so, you know, I played World of Warcraft, and that was okay, but it wasn't as meaningful to me as EverQuest truly is. So basically, the point I want to make is EverQuest was a very special game for me. I often think of Norrath a lot. Norrath never really left my heart, and I still just have such fond memories, and it's funny because recently I got on EverQuest Live just for fun, and I started going through the planes. I have a character that's kind of around that level, but now obviously with the gear and all that stuff, it's kind of trivialized and mercenaries and whatnot. So, also I played Pantheon for a while, and that's actually how I found out about THJ. So Pantheon started to slow down a little bit, and people started looking for other means of entertainment to get their fix. So for me, I heard that's how I heard about the hero's journey. I'm really into monsters and memories, so I'm enjoying those playtests a lot. And the last playtest was absolutely amazing. I had a great time, but I was just thinking, what can I do in the meantime to kind of fill that void? Steam Summer Sale isn't really doing it for me. I got a bunch of stuff on the backlog, and I was just thinking, why don't I try the hero's journey? So I tried it, and I got absolutely sucked in. And but I will say, so first impressions though, right off the bat, right when I created my character, which is, we'll get to that later. It's a Shadow Knight, Bard, and Shaman combo. Working pretty well so far. We'll circle back to that. So right off the bat, what I noticed was um, how alive the server was. There was chatter, there was excitement, people were asking questions, people were trying new things, people were advertising things to sell. Um, I started an Iksar, so I'm in like Kabilis, and there's people around. Like you already see people doing stuff, and like I can't help but notice how alive it feels. People are on, they're active, they're engaged, they're into it, and it's absolutely a great time. So, right off the bat, amazing um, first impression. The bazaar is back, like the old bazaar, how I remember it. So that was like a huge nostalgic hit for me. There's custom content, like there's so much love and attention put into the game that just couldn't help but notice how wonderful that all is, and it's great. Every single person I've interacted with has been great. There's been people hanging out in the stream, in the comments, offering amazing advice, really useful tips. So I will say it's really fun, it's really fast paced, everything's great, and it goes back to the time when I used to talk with my friends, what is the best duo possible, or what is even the best trio? So we would just talk about what classes kind of have the best synergy, and we would just kind of nerd out over this for hours. Just thought, oh, what if we had a really geared warrior with like an amazing cleric? You would be unstoppable, or maybe even a paladin and shaman might be better, because of the slows and the sustain, or maybe even a shadow knight tank would be good, and maybe like a druid healer, just all these different combinations, and you know and it's kind of like the ultimate nerd kind of power fantasy, you know. But I will say one drawback is if you aren't familiar with EverQuest, it's not really a good way to start because everything just seems so fast paced in the beginning. Now, everyone's experience might be a little bit different, but for me, I was a little bit naughty. So I'm already very familiar with EverQuest, just kind of what to do, the vibe, grinding. So I started in Iksar, got my basic stuff. I went out into the field of bone. I was killing a few things and like, okay, well, but the moment I got a little bit of platinum here and there, once I kind of got my feet wet, gained a few levels, just kind of got used to it. I went to the bazaar. There's really cheap pieces of gear that you can get that just absolutely supercharge your journey, like to levels unheard of. And in a way, I kind of felt bad. Maybe I did myself a disservice because I started flying through the levels. Completely cleared out Field of Bone, completely cleared out Kern's Tower. I went to Warslick's Woods and kind of messed around with the giants there. And then I tried to get into like Crypt of Dalnir, and I kept getting kicked back to the bazaar. So that's another thing too that I went in completely blind. I don't know the mechanics, I don't know the systems and the rule sets in place. It's just like, hey guys, like, how do I get out of Kunark? Like, I can't seem to really get out of it. Um, I didn't know about the map that you click to transport around the world. Maybe I missed it. So one thing too is like, there's so much stuff being introduced all at once. Maybe I missed something. But anyway, I was trying to get out of Kunark. I was trying to maybe make my way to get to where the boats are, because I seem to remember taking a boat at least or something. And then I started to get clever. So then I went to the bazaar, and I tried to find a way out through the bazaar. And I was like, well, how do I get out of here? Like, how do I go anywhere else? And I finally found out about the map, so that was nice. I went through some old zones, but generally just kind of stuck to my old stomping grounds for nostalgia's sake. Um, and so right now in the game, I just defeated Lord Nagafen, the second dragon. I'm level 47, and I unlocked Kunark. I think on the progression quest, I need to be level 50, but ultimately I unlocked Kunark finally. So Kunark is the most amazing expansion of all time, in my opinion. Is the greatest EverQuest expansion. It's one of the most amazing MMO expansions ever. It added all kinds of really cool stuff. The lore and the world of Kunark, that whole continent is amazing. The story, the the Iksar, um, the dragons, like all that stuff is just really, really cool. Fallen empires, lost kingdoms, like these weird haunted cities. The lore and the care that went into it is amazing. It's almost something out of like Robert E. Howard, Conan the Barbarian. This very like Lovecraftian swords and sorcery. The art was amazing. I still have my old box actually. I'm working on a video for that. But, so Kunark is my favorite, and I plan to just kind of take my time and go through Kunark, at least do all the like non-respawning zones so I can do the bosses. I want to do all that at least once. And I will say, like, some people think that it's too easy and everything's trivialized, and I agree. I mean, if you have some badass meta gear and build, and you have like a bunch of amazing gear that you might have gotten from the bazaar and twinked yourself out, yeah, absolutely. For me, my idea was just to kind of go back to my class. I still don't really know what I'm doing, so I feel like I'm missing a lot of stuff. I feel like the spells are kind of trivial. I feel like it's mostly the alternate advancement abilities that really get you there, because I remember right around Planes of Power is when some of the classes started to get like really overpowered. If you knew what you were doing, if you had the proper AAs, you could like solo a lot of stuff. I remember monks started getting like really crazy, rangers, tanks could just keep themselves up for a while, casters, everything. So I had all these like crazy power fantasies of like stuff you could do. So ultimately I chose Shadow Knight. Obviously, for the tanking, for the sustain. I like the idea of kind of having one foot in the door of like necromancer type abilities, maybe just having a pet to kind of help me out. Shaman for the slows and the buffs and the debuffs, I thought that was amazing. Obviously the best slow in the game, and I think later on they get an ability to like slow anything pretty much, like unresistible slow. So that'll help me to keep myself up during like gods or whatever and planes of power, so that's exciting. And then ultimately Bard, because you just kind of have your songs running, you can dual wield, you can do a bunch of cool stuff, just kind of like as a support class. So that was kind of my idea of just something that I could use to truly solo with. And then maybe later I might want to try like a true pet class. I actually had this idea of Beastmaster Mage Necromancer before it was cool, before it was popular. It was just an idea right off the bat I was thinking that would be a cool combo to play. Apparently that's very popular. So I want to try a lot of stuff. I'm having so much fun. I'm having a blast. But it's not as easy as it seems, because if you're just kind of going from scratch without much, like I got to the point, Nagafen took me a while to solo. It wasn't as easy as Vox. Some people say Nagafen is easier. I guess so, because you don't have as many ads, where Vox is like in the middle of that giant cavern with all the ads and stuff. So maybe, but I finally got into Kunark and I'm now exploring City of Mist, and I'm having an absolute blast. So I started listening to the Q&A from the community. Really cool stuff. The devs seem like really nice guys, really passionate. People seem to really love it, and myself included. I can see why. I can see why. So I initially thought that this might be like a Monsters and Memories waiting room, just something I can kind of mess around with while I wait on Monsters and Memories to come out, because I'm hoping that that's my MMO for a while. But I gotta say, I got really sucked into the hero's journey. And for me, this time of EverQuest, Kunark through Planes of Power, is my favorite time of EverQuest. It's absolutely amazing, it's magical, it's golden, and as a former EverQuest player, it just all clicks for me, you know? And I'm very excited to go through the planes. I'm very excited to interact with you all. If anybody wants to play or duo or group or whatever, I'm sure I might see you around. And yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying myself, and I think they did an incredible job. I wish them all the success in the world. Thank you to everyone that I've interacted with so far. Everyone's been tremendously helpful, and I'm having a really good time with this server. So I think I'll stick around for a while. And yeah, I'll see you around. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful day.